Page 323, Chapter 6 Review, question number 17D. Solve over the interval 0 to 2 pi. Notice that 0 is included, 2 pi is not, so it's up to 2 pi. So here's our equation that we're going to solve for x. Now when I look at this, I have sine squared x, I have a cos x, and a double angle cos. So I need to make sure I get rid of the double angles. I also have to just work with sine or cosine. I have to pick between the two. Because this is a sine squared, I can use Pythagorean identities and change that, but I can't change cos x, so I'm going to have to make two changes. I'm going to have to change this to 1 minus cos squared x, which is our Pythagorean identity. In this one, I'm going to choose the one that just has cosine in it, so I'm only dealing with one trig function, so I can isolate that. Okay, so let's now simplify this. I'll start by bringing that negative sign through the brackets. Now we're going to move everything to one side. I'm going to move the cos squared x to the left so that I have a positive cos squared to work with. I can subtract 1 here and they actually are going to cancel. Let's just clean this up a bit here. So we have cos squared x here when we subtract or add to cos squared. This cos x we haven't touched, and those ones cancel. Now we can move this all to one side, so we can set our equation equal to 0, so we can solve. That's a minus. Cos x equals 0, and factor. Factor out a cos, and solve. So cos x equals 0, cos x equals 1. We're going to find these on the coordinates using our unit circle. So I'll draw in the coordinates for each 90-degree interval here. And remember, when we're dealing with cos x, we're looking at the x value on our unit circle. So the x values that are 0 occur at pi by 2 and 3 pi by 2. So x equals pi by 2 and 3 pi by 2. Where does cos x equal 1? At 0 and 2 pi. So x also equals on this side 0. And normally I'd write 2 pi, and I'm just going to write it for a moment, but if you take a look at our interval, we do not include 2 pi, so I'm actually not going to include that one. I just crossed it out to show that normally we would. You don't even need to write it down. So just so it's very clear, in order, here are our 3 answers for x. The other thing I should mention is always check to see if any of these are restrictions or non-permissible values. You know, if we go back to our original question, because we just have sine squared and cos x, or sorry, sine x, cos x, and no fractions involved, we do not have any restrictions. So these answers are fine.